What's happening, guys? Dan Debenham here, and today, well, taking a photo. So many different ways of taking a photo. The world is just full of different ways of taking photographs. Different methods, different cameras, different lenses, different variations of bokeh, blur, however you want to address that. And different focal lengths, different ways of taking long and short exposure photos. So I just thought it'd be interesting to do a video on a way of taking photos that makes everything in focus rather than trying to make everything out of focus, which is basically the current fashion, is to have like super shallow depth of field. So with that in mind, let's have a look. Welcome back, guys. Yeah, so today we are talking about focus stacking, and it's a pretty simple, pretty easy way of taking a photo. I don't know why I've got a Canon camera remote in my pocket, but there we go. Yeah, it's a pretty easy way of taking a photo, and it does make sure that all the photo that you've took is in focus from the very foreground to the very background. So with that in mind, let's get into it and let's see how we go about doing that. It's very simple and very quick. Okay, so first up, what we're going to do is we're going to load our photos into Lightroom. Once we've got them in Lightroom and we're all set to go and we're doing what we should do, as you can see, I'll just zoom into this photo here. The foreground is completely in focus and the background, everything that you can see, is totally out of focus. And the idea behind this is to get all of that in focus. Now in this situation, what I've done is taken 3 photos. So I've focused on the foreground bush with a little stump with the tree in, and now I've focused on this tree here. And then in the third photo, I've focused on the background. So these silver birch and these trees in the background here. So you can see it's slightly out of focus and the foreground is totally out of focus. The background is completely in focus now. So we've got 3 photographs. So in effect, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of an edit on these photos, just as you would always do within Lightroom. Stick a little bit of an edit, make it look like you want it to look. So we'll just go through that, and I'll just speed through that a little bit. And once you've done that, basically what we need to do is we need to sync the photos together. Because what we want to do is we want to make sure that all the photos look the same or as similar as we possibly can. There is a way to do that in Lightroom, and if you're not familiar with it, it's pretty easy. You highlight all the photographs that you want to sync, go down to the bottom right, hit sync, check all the checkboxes that you want to check, so all the things you want to be the same, and then hit OK, and it will then sync those photos, and job's a good one. You've got them all sorted. Our next step is, as you can see from the photos, they're all colour corrected, roughly the same, without sort of indicating there's some lighting differences, but we're not going to go there with that. So once we've done that and we've got everything sorted and we know where we are with all, what we need to do is we need to highlight all 3 images. We can right click on those images, and once we've right clicked on them, we go to edit in, which is near the top, and then we go to open as layers in Photoshop, which in my case is at the bottom selection. Now, your computer may take a little bit longer to do this than mine, or it might take a little bit less time to do than mine, but in essence what's going to happen is Photoshop will open those images up in individual layers within the same file. So in effect, you get 3 images stacked on top of one another inside a single workspace within Photoshop. As you can see from the video, it is showing now that it's opening those photos one at a time, basically. So when Photoshop has done that, and it's done everything that it needs to do with that, and it's got them all layered up, what we do is we need to select all 3 photographs again. So we get all 3 photos and we select them, as they're all in individual layers. And then what we can do then is go up to edit, and we can go to auto align layers. Now we leave that on auto because what we want to do is we want to see if there's been any movement at all within your photo. It will show up as a white band or as a slightly off kilter band around the edges. In my case, it hasn't moved. That's just in case your tripod slips or you're holding it by hand or whatever, it will show you the portions of the photo that are exactly the same. Once we've done that and we know that everything is okay with that and there's no edging and we don't have to crop in any way, in some cases you might have to crop the photo slightly. So we can go back up to edit, and then we can go to auto blend layers, and we can leave it on stack images and click OK. And what this is going to do is Photoshop is going to examine the 3 photos, it's going to take out all the blurred parts and it's going to blend the bits that are not blurred and give you a finalized photo. Here it's throwing up a warning saying that the edges have not been done, so I will need to crop this after this situation, after it's all done, in order to alleviate the blending around the edges, which you can see is slightly blurred on the edges. But overall, the image is now completely focused from the middle to the end. We can turn it off, we can turn the images off. So if I turn the main image off, and then you can see the stacks of where it's actually blended, what it's blended in. And you can build up the picture image at a time, basically. And that basically is it. That is effectively what actually happens and how we do a stacked image. You can use as many images as you like. You can use, in my case I've used 3, but in your case you may see fit to take 5, 10, 15, 20 images. Obviously the processing time will be affected by that, but in effect you can take as many images as you need and then stack focus them, and that will give you a completely in focus image all the way through from the foreground to the background. So really clever technique, really easy to do. For this case, I used a Joby tripod and this remote control to stop there being any vibration when I click the button on the camera, but you don't necessarily need to do that. To be fair, it's fairly easy to do. You could just do it on a timer, so you click it and then give it 3 seconds and it'll just take a photo, click it, give it 3 seconds, take a photo, change your focus, etc. to where you want it to be. And it's effectively trying to find the foreground, middle ground and background to make sure that there is enough difference between those 3 things that Photoshop can say, yes, I'll take this portion, take that portion, take the other. You're kind of effectively trying to split your photo into 3 bands so that each photo has got 1 band of focus, 2 bands of out of focus. The better you do that, the better results you get. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you found it useful and that you liked it. If you did, please do like and subscribe below, and I will see you guys next time.